Hello everyone, my name is Cap and welcome back to the channel, another 7 Days to Die video. I'm doing all this on Alpha 16.4 on the PC. I had a question from a viewer wanting me to test out how well generators work here with fuel consumption. So I'm back in the area where I tested out the solar panels a while back to see how much energy they use here. And I have 4 generators set up over here. And this one they all have the exact same amount of gas. I put 250 gas in each one of them. This one's got a little bit of higher quality, one single engine in it. This one's got a lower quality engine. You can see the difference in this one can output 55 watts versus this one can do 83. But they have the same amount of fuel. Now these two over here have the exact same engine in them, a 398, and have the same wattage output capacity available and the same amount of gas. Now what I'm going to test is to see if the fuel consumption is actually different. These two are going to be running to see if the different quality motor will cause it to use more gas than the other one will. And this one down here, I have one set up as just the standard without anything going on with it, and then I have this one hooked up to two of the trash can spotlights here, so it'll actually be putting out a little bit of power usage here to see if these two have a different usage of gasoline as well, and that way we can see if it uses more fuel while it's being utilized. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and turn all these on and try and do it as quickly as I possibly can. That way they're all on about the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these sit for a good little while, and I'm going to go back and check them later on to see if we see anything dramatically different or not. Okay, so it's been running for almost 5 in-game hours. It's just kind of sitting here. I haven't left, so it hasn't had a chance to unload the chunks or anything. Okay, so we're going to test all these out. So remember, these two are just running with nothing in them besides different engines. These both have the same engine, but this one's actually using some power. So let's check it out. Okay, so after 4 in-game hours, this has used exactly 0 gas whatsoever. And that was with the higher quality engine. Let's see, with the lower quality engine, it's used exactly 0 gas too. Now with the two that have the same engines here, this one has used 3 gallons of gas basically, and that one is using the same engine this one is that has used 0 gas. So from what I can tell based on just a little bit of usage I've run here, it only seems to burn gas if it's actually powering something. If not, then it can just sit here and run all day long and not seem to use any gas at all. So I'm going to change it up and do a little bit of additional testing here. Hang on. Okay, so I've reset the test. I'm going to continue on with this here. Now, the previous one I showed that the only time it seems to use any gas at all is if it's actually powering something. So what I did with this one is I put in a lot of bigger engines in here. So this one has a huge max power output here. And all 3 of them are connected to the same amount of light, so they're all using the same number of wattage. I'm just doing lights because they don't draw a whole lot of power and they don't make a whole lot of frame drops, makes it easier to do recording and testing. Now this one, I still have the low quality engine in here, and this one I still have the little bit higher quality engine. And they're all going to be running at the same amount of time. They all have the same amount of fuel. I set them back to 250. And we're going to turn them all on again and let them run for a good little while and see if we can see any differences between how these used fuel. So we're going to basically get them all going, and I'm going to let them run for a while. So it's right at 1330. So we'll check back in on these in just a little bit and see if there's any disparities between how much fuel usage there actually is. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we've been letting this run long enough just to be able to get a baseline test here. So we're going to check out all the engines. Been running for about 6 in-game hours. Nothing dramatic here. Okay, so the first one with a lot of engines used 3 whole gallons of gas, powering just the 2 lights over there. Not really a surprise. That one used 3 gallons of gas with the lower engine, and with the single higher engine used 3 gallons of gas too. Okay, so it looks like it's not necessarily based on the engine quality or how much total output it can put out. It's more based on how much power outage is being used. So with that being said, I'm going to do one more follow-up test just to see if that's actually the case or not. So bear with me. Okay, now for the final test with this, just to check it out here. So I have these 2 engines both with a new 506 engine here, both sitting at 247 because I didn't feel like trying to get them even again. But you can see they both have the exact same amount, and they can output 92 watts of power. Now this one's still going to be connected to just the 2 spotlights here. This one's going to be connected to the 2 spotlights, run through a couple relays to an additional spotlight and a blade trap over here because it uses a whole lot more power. It actually takes 20 watts to run this bad boy. So all in all, this engine's going to have to be doing a whole lot more work than that one is, and we'll see if their fuel consumption is different. So we're going to get both of these fired up here. Make sure all that over there is running and on. Okay, so we're good to go. Actually, let me Make sure this light is on. Okay, I didn't want to leave that behind here. Okay, so now, just to double check, let me see. So this one is using 37 watts of power. This one's using 10. Okay, it's not a dramatic, huge difference, but it's enough to be able to test it out. So I'm going to let it run for a little while again, and we'll see if their fuel consumption is any different. Okay, I think they've run long enough just to get a baseline here of whether or not that's actually true. So just remember, this first one had the 3 trash can lights, the relays, and the blade trap running. And this one over here was running just the trash can lights. Both of them had the same amount of gas and the same battery. So this one has 237 gallons left in it, and this one's got 244 gallons. Okay, so that is absolutely confirmed. The gas output usage is based on how much total power is being used. So if you've got nothing powering it, it can run indefinitely, apparently, which makes no sense, but that's not for me to decide. So for the people that were asking me to test this out, that is what you need to know. The more power that is being used, the more gas it's going to use. It doesn't matter what size engine or how many engines you have in there. So hopefully this was valuable to at least a few people, for those people using these to design your bases here. If you have any questions, do drop in the comment section down below. And of course, if you have any other suggestions of things you want me to test, happily drop that down there below and I'll add that to the list too. And be sure to just slap that thumbs up button if you did enjoy the video, because I do appreciate that. And be sure to subscribe if you're not already, so you don't miss out on future videos. Thank you guys so much for your time. You have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.